Hey guys, sometimes the best games are the ones that you almost skip. You see the reviews, you hear the internet discourse, you watch people argue for months about whether a game is mid, disappointing, or not worth your time. And then one day it lands on PS Plus or Steam or whatever. So you download it because why not? It's free anyway. And suddenly you realize, wait, this is actually good. That happened to me with 3 completely different games: Dragon Age, the Veilguard, Stranding Deep, and infamous First Light. These games could not be more different from each other. One is a fantasy RPG full of companions and sword-ending stakes. One traps you alone in the middle of the ocean, trying not to die from dehydration. And one turns you into a neon-powered superhuman flying across Seattle. But they all share something important. They are games that became way more enjoyable once I stopped listening to expectation and just played them for what they are. Let's start with the controversial one, okay? Dragon Age the Veilguard, which had impossible expectation. People waited years for this game. Years. And because it carries the Dragon Age name, everyone expected it to perfectly recreate the feeling of Origins or Inquisition, or honestly, the version of Dragon Age they built in their head over the last decade. So, when Veilguard released and felt more action-focused, more cinematic and less traditionally tactical, the backlash came immediately. And honestly, probably some criticisms were also fair. Even if I have to admit that, to be honest, I hadn't played any other Dragon Age of the series. This is my first one. I think that the tone is lighter than what I expected. The combat is fast and less strategic than in other games of this kind, but some dialogue feels so modern, sometimes even too much modern for a fantasy game. But here's the thing nobody talks about enough. It's still a really fun RPG. The environments are gorgeous. The companion banter is a classic of BioWare. The combat actually feels satisfying once you stop trying to force it into being, another one of the series or a similar game. And the biggest surprise for me was how confident the game feels stylistically. Instead of being another dark fantasy clone, Veilguard leans fully into high fantasy spectacle, magical cities, absurd visual effect, massive set pieces. It almost feels closer to a fantasy action adventure than a traditional CRPG, okay? And that shift is exactly why some people probably hated it, and why others, like me, ended up loving it. Because if you approach it expecting a tactical old-school RPG, you will probably be disappointed. But if you approach it as a character-driven fantasy action RPG, there's actually a lot to enjoy. I've done one run of about 10 hours, I think, and then I start over because I wanted to commit it more into the game, because for me it was valuable. Then I've done my very first complete run, and I'm enjoying the second run with a little different character. I already have more than 100 hours into this game, and I've got also the platinum because I really enjoyed it. Now, compare that to Stranding Deep. This game is basically the opposite of Veilguard. No giant story, no companions, no cinematic cutscenes. It's just you, the ocean, and pure survival anxiety. In particular, if you are like me, and I mean a little bit thalassophobic, so I kind of fear open water, the ocean, the deep ocean, and honestly, this game got mixed reaction for good reasons for me, but also I think for everybody else. It's janky, the physics can be weird, the menus are a little bit clunky, and sometimes it feels like the game is actively trying to annoy you, especially at the beginning when you have to do many things but you don't have the materials, for example, and you can't craft whatever you want. But somehow that's part of the experience. Stranding Deep succeeds because it creates tension naturally. You are not scared because of script horror moments. You are scared because you forgot sunscreen and now your character is dying while a shark circles your tiny raft. Everything feels earned. The first time you successfully build a shelter, amazing. The first time you sailed to another island and barely survived, incredible. The first time you get poisoned and realize you have no idea how to cure it, pure panic. What makes Stranding Deep special is immersion through vulnerability. Most survival games eventually turn you into an unstoppable crafting machine. Stranding Deep never fully lets you relax. Even late into the game, the ocean still feels dangerous. And because it was on PS Plus, a lot of people tried it without spending full price, which honestly may be the perfect way to discover games like this. Because there's no pressure to get your money worth, you become more open to slower, weirder experiences. Then there is the not so famous, infamous First Light. Probably the most underrated game here. This game had a weird reputation for years. A lot of people treated it like just a DLC of the main series, but First Light is way better than people remember. The movement alone is incredible. Running across rooftops with neon power still feels fast, stylish, and smooth, even today. And unlike a lot of open world games that overwhelm you with icons and endless systems, First Light keeps things focused. It knows exactly what it wants to be. A short, polished superhero experience. And honestly, there's something refreshing about that now. Not every game needs to be 150 hours long. Not every game needs crafting systems, battle passes, and 6 types of currencies. First Light gives you flashy powers, tight movement, solid combat, and a surprisingly emotional story around the protagonist, Fetch. That's it. And because it's shorter, the pacing almost never drags. It's one of those games that reminds you how fun the PS4 era of AA but still high budget games really was. So, what's interesting is that these games succeeded for completely different reasons. Veilguard succeeds because of its character and spectacle. Stranding Deep succeeds because of immersion and survival tension. Oh, and I forgot to mention that I also got the platinum for Stranding Deep. Not for First Light, but for the first 2 games, yes. And then First Light, last but not least, succeeds because it's focused and mechanically fun. They are not trying to do the same thing. And that's important because modern gaming discussion often flatten everything into one question. Is this game objectively good or bad? But games don't work like that. A game can have flaws and still create memorable experiences. A game can disappoint you, disappoint one kind of audience, and completely surprise another. And PS Plus is actually perfect for discovering that, because subscription services remove one huge factor: risk. Okay? It is true that with subscription is more statistically probable that you will go to increase your backlog, but with that you are more willing to try games outside your comfort zone, because you didn't spend hundreds of dollars, euros, or any other currencies on them. And ironically, that often leads to more honest experiences, because you stop obsessing over whether the game justified the price tag, and you start paying attention to whether you're actually having fun. So yeah, Dragon Age, the Veilguard, Stranding Deep, and Infamous First Light are all very different games. None of them are perfect. All of them got criticism. But all three reminded me that sometimes the best gaming experiences happen when you ignore the noise and give a game a chance yourself. Because reviews can tell you what a game does wrong, but they can't tell you how a game will feel to you. That's still one of the best things about gaming. That you can play a game which the rest of the world hate, and you still can try this game and say, whoa, that was amazing. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.